Hello, hello, and let me get on to Periscope as well. But good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, I'm really excited about tonight's show just because it's about astrology, about the Libra full moon that is happening this Saturday. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the astrology. We're going to talk about the crystals. We're going to talk about the affirmations that you can use. So let's flip this around. Okay, I think everybody is up now. We are all ready to go. Great. Okay, so my name is Nefertiti, and I am with One Body Wellness, and I am a spiritual life coach and fitness professional, specifically mind body fitness professional. And you can find me on the web at onebodywm.wixsite.com, where you can book a session with me, or just send me an email if you have any questions at onebodywm@gmail.com. So I'm going to make an adjustment to this light just so we can see me a little bit better. Okay, I think that's a little bit better, at least for Periscope it is. Turn this way a little bit. Let's see how you're looking, YouTube. Okay, yeah, so I'm working on my lighting situation. You know, this is all a learning process for me, but I'm really excited to talk to y'all. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'll let all the details and everything else work out later. So let me turn on chat. All right, so we're going to talk about the Libra full moon. And like I said, it's happening this Saturday. And this is a game changer because, you know, we just got out of eclipse season. And this particular full moon has a lot of aspects, a lot of what some would consider challenging aspects, but challenges do not have to be a bad thing, okay? So, excuse me, full moons, just talk about what a full moon actually is. It's an opposition between the sun and the moon. And on an energetic level, that basically represents awareness, things that we need to be aware of, conscious of. It also represents culminations and endings, conclusions, okay? The full moon is going to be an emotional type of energy, right? It's emotional, it's extroverted. Typically, things that happen at the full moon are a direct result of something that happens outside of us. And we just need to be aware, right? Full moons are also about manifestation. So if you've been maybe intending something at a particular full moon, and at a particular new moon, when the full moon comes in, you can actually manifest what it is that you have been intending. So that's kind of how the cycles work. And I think I'm going to do a video on that, on the lunar cycles, the lunations, and what kind of work you can do, personal development and spiritual development work that you can do at these particular times of the month. Okay. So the full moon, the Libra full moon, is exact on March 31st, 2018 at 5:37 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, this is an opposition between the Libra moon and the Aries sun, okay? So Libra is all about partnerships and bringing people together, and Aries is more about kind of being a pioneer, kind of doing their own thing, sometimes on their own terms, right? So relationships are going to be the theme. Not only are relationships the theme anyway at full moons, but this particular full moon, because it's in Libra, is going to make it extra relationship oriented. Okay, so lots of awareness, lots of things are going to be happening around your relating patterns, the people that you partner with as well. It's not always intimate relationships. You know, the Libra also governs partnerships, contracts, negotiations, right? Balancing of the scales. So peace, diplomacy, and harmony are the higher aspects of what Libra represents in the astrology. And I think that could be a focus at this time, because we are going to have, like I said, some challenging aspects that we have to kind of be aware of and navigate. They don't have to always be a bad thing. Even a bad challenge always has the seed of opportunity in it. Okay. I know that sounds corny, but we've heard it and we know it's true, right? If you can look back at any challenge that you've had in the past, there's always been some sort of blessing in disguise in there, right? Now, you might not be able to see that as you're going through what you're going through, but trust me, that is what always happens. Okay. And these are areas of our life that need to be examined: partnerships, relationships. Okay. In an intimate relationship, here's a question I asked to my yoga class. Are you guys living together or are you dying together? Right. So examine your intimate relationships, especially, but most importantly, the relationship that you have with yourself, because that's the most important relationship, that internal dialogue that you have with yourself, right? That kind of will let you know what type of relationship you have with yourself. Do you speak loving thoughts, or do you think loving thoughts about yourself? Do you speak loving and kind words to yourself and about yourself? Or is it a constant stream of just self-loathing and, I hate my body, I hate the way I look, I hate my life, da 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 da, right? So these are things that you need to examine first before you try to examine someone else, right? Which is what we like to do. It's a defense mechanism. It's a defense mechanism. We want to kind of project out anything inside of us that is unlike love. So it has nothing to do with it being good or bad. It's just not something that we want to carry around because it's heavy, right? And relationships, all relationships require work. Now, if you're with somebody and it's just easy and good all the time, I would definitely have my suspicions, okay? Because relationships require work, especially if it's with two authentic people, two awake people. You're going to definitely have to work, okay, at keeping that relationship healthy, keeping that relationship thriving on all levels. Okay. So this could definitely be some supportive energy for you if you're an air sign or a cardinal sign. Well, it all depends, but air signs definitely. So that's going to be Libras, Aquariuses, and what's the third air sign? Ooh, Gemini. Mercury retrograde. Okay. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. But that's what we need to be focused on, is relating, our relationships and the balance in our lives, the balance of the structures that we have in our lives. Okay. So do we have a good work-life balance? Are we taking care of ourselves? Are we taking care of our bodies? Your body is the only place you have to live. And I, talk to clients all the time, and especially people that I'm coaching with plant-based nutrition. They are so concerned about how much things are going to cost and this and that. This is the only body that you're going to have for the rest of your life. Okay. So you want to put the best, highest quality food in it, because this is all you get. It's not like a car where you can go and buy a new one. Okay. And, I don't know about you, but surgeons and medications freak me out. So I would much rather have more foresight than hindsight. Anyways, I'm digressing. Let's get back to this full moon. So that's what the higher self wants, is peace, right? Peace. No matter what's going on in your life, that will never, ever change. Your higher self, whatever you want to call that invisible part of yourself, only wants you to be at peace. And that's what Libra energy is about. And sometimes there has to be some struggles and some tumultuousness in order to get that peace, because there's got to be some upheavals, right? If there's not peace in your life, that means there's something or someone in your life that you are allowing to compromise that peace, okay? To compromise your well-being. And it's up to you to make the adjustments, to make the changes. And that's what we're all being asked to do this year in 2018, the year of transformation. Okay. We are being supported in this energy. So I say, take action. That's what cardinal signs are about. Whenever there's energy in cardinal signs, it's about taking action. It's about movement. However, that needs to happen for you. You can just choose to do it on your own, where you take responsibility for your life and you decide, okay, I'm not going to just sit here and plan for the rest of my life. I'm not going to just sit here and doubt myself and, worry about what other people think. I'm not going to do that anymore because I have to take action. I have to take action. What did Wayne Dyer, he quoted, I can't remember who he quoted, but I know he said it. He said, don't die with your music still in you. Okay. So whatever it is that you need to bring forth into this world, know that you are supported and you'll be guided along the way, but you've got to take those action steps. And that's what this energy is about. Okay. And it's really about change or be changed. Okay. Because this full moon is under some pressure from these challenging aspects. So it's actually a part of a cardinal T-square between Mars and Saturn. So Mars and Saturn are both in Capricorn right now as I'm making this video. And Mars, just to put it in simple terms, Mars is like the green light, Saturn is like the red light, okay? So those are obviously two opposing energies. But what it's asking you to do is to take planned and kind of calculated action, right? Saturn is the Lord of karma. Saturn's the great teacher planet, teaches us lessons, tests us, examines us in all areas of our life, wherever Saturn is in your chart. Okay. Currently, Saturn's transiting my second house. So that's why I'm here speaking to you all. All right. But Saturn is going to do that. He's the great tester. And, the energy is considered somewhat malicious and as opposed to as described in astrology. Okay. So again, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but just know that with Saturn and Mars, this could be very volatile energy. Maybe you're feeling stuck. You want to move forward. You have the energy and the drive to move forward, Mars, but Saturn is testing it. Are you sure this is what you want to do? Are you sure that you have the money to do what you need to do? Are you sure that your plan is viable? Are you sure that you have gotten the education or the experience that you need to make this work? Because you cannot fool the universe. And that's basically what Saturn kind of represents as far as where we are in the solar system. That's what Saturn represents. You cannot fool me, okay? You will have to work for it. And Mars will give you the energy and the drive to do it. But again, with Saturn there, you have to make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row, okay? Now, when it comes to relationships, again, that's a huge theme with this full moon. You want to use emotional intelligence, okay? So I'll give you some very practical examples. It takes two people to fight. It takes two to fight. So if you know that you are going to be dealing with a contentious person, you need to set yourself up for success and decide from the get-go that I am not going to engage in emotionally charged conversation with this person. If I feel like I can't do that, then I'm going to wait until another time if I can. But on the flip side of that, it may mean that you need to stir the pot with some people. All right. It all depends on where this energy falls in your chart. It all depends on how evolved and aware you are, because energy is just what it is, right? So it has to manifest in a certain way. So if we're dealing with relationships and we've been suppressing things, we've been suppressing anger, it's not the foxes that ruin relationships, it's the ants. Trust me, I know, okay? Relationships have been a huge lesson for me in my life. So this is kind of an area of expertise for me. I'm embarrassed to say. But anyways, using emotional intelligence, okay? Thinking before you speak. Taking time out to get quiet, to kind of do some introspection. Can't even say the word introspection, to examine where these potentially volatile or insecure type of feelings are coming from, because they're coming from within you, right? These buttons that people are able to push are within you. They didn't put the buttons there. They may know how to push them. Trust me, people know how to push your buttons. We know that. But they did not put the buttons there for you, for them to be pushed. You did. You allowed those things in there. So that's what you need to be examining at this time. And personal planets, if you have any personal planets in Libra or Aries, or to a lesser degree, some of the other cardinal signs like Capricorn and Cancer, then you're going to feel this energy the most. I would say Aries too, to a little bit of a lesser degree, just because it's the opposite of you. And you have Mercury retrograde there, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So this is the time to take action, but to put a plan in place first, and to be enthusiastic about that plan, right? So if it's not an absolute yes, it's a no. Trusting your intuition, which is really trusting your feelings, all right? We've been taught in society to numb ourselves, to suppress ourselves from feeling anything. And your feelings are your indicators. You need to feel. Now, I'm not saying that you have to allow yourself to be just totally going completely ape shit. You know, you do what you need to do to calm down, but just understand that emotions in and of themselves, no matter what they are neither good nor bad. They just are. They are a reaction to life. And there's a lot of richness in our emotions. And there's a lot of healing when you're allowed to feel your emotions. That's the only way. You got to feel it to heal it. Okay. So if that means, you know, ending a relationship, right? What's that song? Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye, right? But if you're in a relationship that is stagnant or abusive or just completely out of alignment with who you are now, this full moon could bring things to a head, okay? Where you're going to have these discussions, or you're going to have to, you know, go separate ways. Or it could be that it's time for you to get serious with a particular individual. But I would wait until Mercury goes direct, okay? Because there's a lot of fog right now, right? A lot of mental fog with Mercury retrograde. Now, at the time of the full moon, Venus is going to move into her home sign of Taurus. Sensual, sexy, prosperous, beautiful, abundant Venus, coming to kind of give us a little bit of reprieve from these challenges, right? And this supports us in our material pursuits, right? Because Tauruses are pretty materialistic, not in a bad way, but they like their stuff. They like their things, right? And Tauruses like things to be beautiful. Tauruses are very much able to attract abundance and prosperity if they're working from the higher octave of their energy, right? And this is good. This is good. This will kind of help you to be more creative, to see the beauty in what it is that you're trying to put together, these projects, these things that you're trying to start, these complete life transformations, wherever this full moon is falling in your chart. This will kind of help to ease those transitions and those things that you have to go through when you're going through change and transition, because change and growth can be very messy, right? Especially when you're dealing with resistance, when you're holding on to things that you know are no longer serving you in a positive way, right? And we all do it. We all do it. Virtually everyone has an addiction of some sort. And an addiction, the way I define it, is something that has more control over you than you would like. Okay. So that could be a lot of things, right? But you want to definitely check in with that and see if there's something that you need to release, because now is the time to do it. With full moon energy, it's good. It's time. Oh, live. We're live. Yep. Here we go. All right. We're back. But with full moon energy, it's good to release things and let them go. And towards the end of the video, I'm going to give you some tips on just a couple of little quick rituals that you can do to help you Release what no longer serves you on an energetic level so that everything else will kind of take care of itself, right? Now, Tauruses are empowered, they're beautiful, they are strong, and this is about thinking about ways to increase your income while still taking action, okay? So, and enjoying yourself, right? Venus is about pleasure. Taurus is loved delicious food. They like having a good time. They like wearing nice clothes and just doing things that are nice and festive. And so this could be a way out for you, right? To really kind of detach from some of this challenging energy because there's going to be things that you can control and things that you can't control, right? And it's helpful to work on the things that you can control because that's where you feel empowered. That's where your power is. Doing those things like, okay, I might have these issues, these challenges, but I can still eat well. I can still drink water. I can still keep my house clean. I can still take care of my children to the best of my ability. I can still choose to think loving thoughts about myself. I can still choose to believe that everything is going to work out for me. Even though right now it seems like everything is completely upside down, things are going to work out for me. Things are working out for me. We always have to remember that the universe responds to our vibration. That's the first thing. The universe does not respond to our words. The universe responds to our vibration. And we have to remember that the universe does not have a personality like we do. So, you know, the universe, he, she, whatever it is, doesn't have to work through all these filters and layers like we do with all this negotiation. It just is. We ask for something and we receive it on an energetic level, but it's up to us to allow it into our lives. And that takes practice. It takes practice to kind of decondition yourself from that, what I really, it's poverty consciousness, right? And Venus, Taurus, they are not about poverty, okay? Any Taurus that I know, and I know I'm keep a budget. Okay. So that's that Saturn, that practical energy coming in Capricorn, right? Doing those things that you need to do, doing the things, not just planning the things, but doing the things. But it gets a little bit tricky because Mercury is currently retrograde until April 15th in fiery, hot-headed, impatient Aries, right? So this is not a particularly fun time maybe for anyone that has an Aries sun, Aries moon, or Aries rising, potentially too an Aries career point, 10th house. Depending on what's going on, and like I said, if how evolved you are, this could be some frustrations, wanting to do things but having to wait because either you don't have the resources available, have to contend with authority figures, Saturn. Okay, Saturn is about, old school. Mars is new school. Saturn is old school, right? So these two energies can coexist, but there has to be kind of a mutual understanding that there needs to be action taken. It needs to be innovative, but it needs to be structured. Okay. So that's the balance, Libra. That's the balance that we need to find is how do we accomplish our goals and dreams? How do we do what it is that we need to do, but still sticking to a plan, sticking to a budget? And how can we improve the relationships in our lives? First, it requires you to improve the relationship with yourself. That's the first step, hands down. Once you do that, it's almost like the relationships in your life will automatically improve, or the negative ones will dissolve so that there's room for new relationships to come into your life, right? So it's about trusting the process. When you ask for certain things to happen in your life, other things need to happen first. So if you're trying to be a millionaire, or if you're trying to attract the love of your life, you have to allow other things to come into place first because it's a process in this 3D, 4D world we live in, right? And that requires you to release resistance. releasing resistance. And affirmations are a good way to do that. And I'm going to talk about that in a few moments. Also, in your chart, and where it's transiting in your chart and in your astrology, I'm going to give you some affirmations that might help you to kind of direct this energy, right? Because we're living in a very important time. More and more people are waking up, right? More and more people are watching things like this and really, really getting back in touch with the natural world, with natural cycles, because it feels good, right? Because it feels good, it feels natural, and it helps us to kind of know what to expect. So astrology is like weather, right? We are able to anticipate what's going to happen so we can be prepared. And I don't know about you, but it makes me feel good to at least kind of know what I'm gonna be coming up against energetically. I might not have all the details, and I don't personally believe in fortune telling because I think that we create our own realities. So I definitely do believe that energy patterns in motion, okay, the astrology is valid. And I always like to say to my clients and to my yoga students that you might not believe in astrology, but astrology believes in you. Okay. So it's just good information to have, right? More information, a good way to describe life, to make things make sense to you. We need that as human beings, right? Okay. So moving on, the sun is going to conjunct this retrograde Mercury during this time of the full moon. And this is, big for thinking about what you're going to say before you say it. The sun is you, the sun is your personality, right? Conjuncting this retrograde Mercury. So, our mind is kind of offline for review, for rebooting, right? Wherever Mercury retrograde falls in your chart, this is the area of your life where you need to slow down, okay? This is not the best time to sign contracts, not the best time to get married, not the best time to start a new job, not the best time to buy electronics. This is a great time to meditate. This is a great time to keep a journal. This is a great time to focus on all of the rewords, reassessing, reevaluating, repeating, renting. Okay, I think renting is a reword. So, you do what you got to do, though. I mean, lives, we can't stop doing what we need to do because of the astrology, but just know that when Mercury goes direct, if you have done anything like signed contracts or done any type of business like that, bought big ticket electronic items, that there may need to be some adjustments when Mercury moves forward, i.e. keep your receipts. Make sure that if you do have to sign a contract, that it is read several times, that you have a second set of eyes, just to make sure, right? Just to make sure, because it's the potential is there for you to miss something because all of the information is not available to us. It's like the conscious, the higher self, the conscious, the collective consciousness is kind of pulled back a little bit, slow down the information flow so that you can integrate what you already have and review and reassess all of those rewords, right? You've got to slow down to do that. So this is also going to be just a right time for arguments and petty arguments, especially because people with Libra energy, the shadow of Libra is being passive aggressive. Okay. And I don't know about you, but that irks the hell out of me. I hate passive aggressive behavior. Okay. So this is going to be kind of right in the air. So you want to avoid right fighting too, where it's like, I'm right. No, I'm right. You're wrong. That type of stuff. Maybe think about what you are even having an argument over, and it could be something really fucking stupid. Okay. Because again, this is really about basically us becoming aware of where we need to make adjustments in our life. Okay. And there's just so much energy and support for that. Now, challenges, that's a part of life. Okay, we're going to have ups and downs. Storms will come, and it's pouring down raining, and he's just weathering the storm because he knows it'll pass, because he knows, right? And again, examining relationships. That's going to be a huge, huge theme for this full moon. All right. So let's talk about how this is going to affect you personally through each sign. Now, keep in mind, this is a general reading, so everybody's going to be different. And I'm going to be talking specifically about sun signs, but you should definitely know your moon sign and your ascendant, because these are also very important aspects of your astrology. So the sun is basically you on a personality level, what you think about yourself. If somebody were to ask you who you are, basically you would answer based on maybe what your sun sign says or what it represents or something to that effect. Your rising sign is basically how other people perceive you, okay? How things kind of play out in the world. And that could be very different from your sun sign, right? It usually is, because you're dealing with other people's perceptions, other people's filters and ideas. So that's your rising sign. And that's basically how things are going to manifest, if that makes any sense. Your moon sign represents your emotions, okay? Your emotional nature, how you process your emotions, how you deal with life on an emotional level. So you can see how all three of these, sun, moon, and rising, kind of come together and give you a more complete picture than just your sun sign. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to just go through how this full moon is going to affect your sun sign. And I would encourage you to use one of the free chart tools on the internet. There's tons of them. And find out, where these planets are, and find out where, you have some challenges and things like that. You do need to probably know what time of you were born. If you don't, I think some of them will still work. But if you want something a little more exact, you should time and birth. Okay. All right. So let's go through the houses and what to expect. So let's talk about this on an individual level through the houses. So we're going to start with Libra. Libra, this is in your first house. So this is about you. This is about, awareness and manifestations and endings around who you, and a good affirmation. I love and approve of myself. Love myself exactly as I am right now. I need to pretend to be someone else. It is okay for me to be me. So these are good affirmations for you to use at this full moon, especially since you're going to be dealing with relationships. And a lot of times the perception that we have about ourselves is based on what somebody else thought about us. And it's just conditioning. And so you've got to kind of retrain your mind to know that you support you, that you love you, and that's all that matters. And you'll eventually attract loving, caring, genuine people into your life because you have genuine love for yourself. Now, Scorpio, this is in your 12th house. So this is definitely kind of got a double theme here of endings, right? Because the 12th house is the shadow. It's basically like the skeletons in the closet. The 12th house also governs our spirituality and, to a lesser degree, our health, our mental health, and our ability to engage in spiritual practices. So Scorpios, you're pretty spiritual. This is a good time for you to meditate, to go within, to journal, spend some time in nature, and really focus on what you need to eliminate or who you need to eliminate, right? And do it after the retrograde, after Mercury retrograde, because you want it to be permanent, okay? But this is a good time for you to kind of contemplate that and maybe kind of set things in place, set the wheels in motion, right? Now, for Sagittarius, this is in your 11th house of your goals, your dreams, your friendships. The 11th house also governs corporate money, money you make from where you work, or the money you make from the business that you own. Okay, so this could be about maybe you reaching some goals or some milestones and having to examine your corporate relationships or your friendships, right? Examining your friendships. Are you able to move forward with support from your friends? Or are you able to, well, let me back up. Do you need to surround yourself with better people? People that maybe have the same objectives as you, people that are really trying to live their purpose and their passion? Are you surrounding yourself with these people? Because as the saying goes, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around with. So examine your friendships, examine your goals too. Are these goals that you have still viable, or do they need to be reworked? Because great, this is a good time to do that. For Capricorn, this is in your 10th house of career and publicity and reputation, okay? So this could have a lot to do with your job, um, keeping some balance in your work life, and also maybe getting a promotion, right? Or perhaps you're losing a job, or maybe you are thinking about moving on. But again, wait if you can until Mercury goes direct. Okay. There could also be some things going on like with authority figures, right? Maybe you've been in talks with people about you moving up or moving out of a particular position, because this is a full moon. So this is about awareness, or perhaps there's some kind of awareness going on in the workplace, right? Where you thought maybe, for example, that you had a good relationship with management, or perhaps you don't, and you're trying to improve that relationship. So think about that, your reputation, your public face, okay? For Aquarius, this is in your 9th house of the higher mind, of travel, social media, speaking, writing, teaching. So this could see you maybe ending a project, or perhaps maybe planning to go on a trip or taking a trip. And this could also be ships that you have over the internet, right? Examining your social media relationships. How many of us have friends of people that we don't even know? They're just kind of hanging out on our social medias, right? So this could be a good time to examine that. Perhaps you are being challenged in your relationship with your religious following, okay? Maybe you're trying to grow, you're trying to expand, you're trying to really tap into your higher self, but there's some restriction there because of your belief system, right? 9th house rules belief systems. So this would be a good time to examine those beliefs, especially with Mercury being retrograde, right? Kind of just going through that mental closet of your beliefs about life and about the world, right? How it exists to you, and your judgments and your perceptions. This is a good time to examine all of that, right? And how that affects your relationships with people, the kind of people that you choose to be in relationship, right? All right. So moving on to Pisces, this is in your 8th house of endings, of death. The 8th house governs death, but it also governs shared resources, intimacy, trust. So with this huge Libra relationship theme and Mars and Saturn being there, this is a good time to focus on psychological healing within yourself. This could be also a good time to examine the shared resources with your partner, right? Other people's money, okay? And how you can maybe increase that, Venus and Taurus, or can maybe level the playing field, because this is Libra. We're talking about balance. Perhaps you're dealing with some imbalances in your shared resources situation that needs to be adjusted, right? It will be adjusted because we're dealing with cardinal energy. So this is movement. All right. Moving on to Aries. This is in your 7th house of relationships. So huge theme for you with partnerships, relationships. This could see a relationship ending so a new one can begin. This could also see you just being challenged in the one-on-one contact, okay? Because again, we're dealing with Mercury retrograde, communication issues, right? This could be where, an email gets sent or a text message gets sent and it's interpreted the wrong way, right? And now all of a sudden you have some contention with somebody and you were just like, whoa, I mean, I didn't really mean for it to come across like that, but it did, right? And so just watch for things like that. Watch how you're talking to people. Watch the dynamic in your intimate relationship, okay? Because there's some tension here. There's some tension. We're all being pressured, but we're all being we're faced with things outside of our control, that force us to work on your relationship, to be patient, right? To work on the right, with both parties, making sure that there's mutual respect and honesty between you. Okay. Now, if you're a Taurus, this is your 6th house, and this is about your health. This is about the day-to-day, your daily duties and responsibilities. And this is actually good for you. Like, you're pretty good at keeping a schedule, keeping things kind of going with the flow, right? But pay attention to your health. Okay. Do you need to make some changes in your eating? Right? Do you need to make some changes? Right? Are you dealing with some kind of acute health issue? Or do you need to go get a checkup? Right? This is also about work-life balance because we're dealing with Libra. So that work-life balance. Are you able to get what you need to get done on a day-to-day basis without feeling overwhelmed? Are you able to get enough? Are you able to rest when you need it? Right? So analyze those areas of your life, especially your health. I'm really sensing that Tauruses need to pay attention to their health and their health habits, their daily health habits, right? Brushing your teeth, whatever it is that you do on a daily basis, make sure that you're keeping up with these routines. For Gemini, this is in your 5th house of creativity and children and love. And the 5th house rules your heart. So you might be dealing with visions, manifestations, culminations in these areas of your life. Okay. Do you need love in your life? Or is the love that's in your life right now good, but could it be better? Are you tapping into your creativity? Are you really, really tuned in? Perhaps this could be the end of a creative project, right? But I really feel like this is a time for you to review matters of the heart, okay? The heart. Who do you love? Do you love yourself? Do you tend to put other people before you? With Gemini too, with this Mercury retrograde, because Mercury is your ruling planet, there could be a lot of I just need to slow down. So I would advise, as challenging as it may be, to lean back, drop out of your head and into your heart and find out what it is that your heart wants, right? That's a challenging thing for you to do, but you can do it. You're being supported in this energy to do that. Libra is a fellow air sign, so this is supportive energy for you, okay? If you're a Cancer, this is in your 4th house of home, family, where you live, how you live, your lifestyle, okay? Your father. So this could be changes in those areas of your life, changes in your foundation, okay? Maybe you're moving in with somebody. That's always challenging. Or perhaps you're splitting, what is that called? Where 2 people are living together, cohabitation, and perhaps it's not working out and there needs to be some changes. Somebody's got to go, or perhaps you both have to go. But there's going to be changes to your foundation, changes to your lifestyle. Make the adjustments. If you know where you need to make the adjustments, I would encourage you to do that. Okay? As opposed to having something happen and then you're forced to make those adjustments. Okay? Because I know cancers like to retreat. They like to kind of, that's the nature of the crab, right? They want to kind of fall back from adversity and don't want to really deal with that kind of stuff. But we have to. This is, you're a cardinal sign. So you understand what it means about movement and about emotions, right? About emotional healing, emotional intelligence. Cancers, you guys are experts on this. If you are operating from that higher level of consciousness as a Cancer, right? For Leos, this is in your third house of communication, speaking, and teaching, short distance travel, your neighbors. Again, Mercury is retrograde. So this is not a good time to sign contracts. You definitely want to pay attention to your electronics and to your transportation, your modes of transportation. Make sure those tires are changed, oil is changed, tune-ups, things like that, okay? And short distance travel, right, is going to be impacted by this transit. So you might experience some challenges there, traffic jams, the typical Mercury retrograde stuff, right? Where you want to go Mars, but Saturn's like, no, this is the only time that I get to talk to you about anything because the day starts and you get busy and, I can't talk to you about anything, right? Right? I always have harmonious relationships with my siblings, right? Going up to Cancer, my home is a clean, comfortable, peaceful haven. I'm just going through these affirmations because I forgot. So for Gemini, your fifth house, I attract love. I'm willing to give and receive love. For Taurus, I love my body. I love my healthy, fit body. I eat lots of living food, vitality, and life. For Aries, I easily attract the love of my life, right? Relationships are to the infinite supply of wealth, right? I allow money to flow into my life from multiple sources. I love that one. And Capricorn, I attract a wonderful new job and it comes to me easily. My creativity, my talents and skills and abilities are in demand. That's for Virgo, the second house, and for Capricorn, the 10th house. My work is fulfilling. So moving on to Virgo, because I don't know if I talked about Virgo. Virgo, this is happening in your second house of income, talents, abilities, worthiness. I am worthy of receiving my good, right? And with that second house, it's about earned income. Okay, so this could see you bringing, either bringing some more money in because you're creating some more balance. Maybe there's some challenges, a challenging project that you have to do. And if if you do this project and you do it well, you're going to get a raise of some sort or some kind of a bonus. But this is about your worthiness too. Are you feeling like you are getting what you need from your relationship? Okay. And if not, why not? And can you make those adjustments? Because things are going to come up. Awarenesses are going to come up where you're going to feel like, I'm not really sure how I feel about this or that, or I'm not really sure that I'm feeling completely honored and respected in this situation. And you have to speak up. You have to speak up, but be careful what you say because Mercury is retrograde. Okay. So it might even be a good idea to kind of wait it out and examine your own self-worth issues. Use this time for introspection. I'll say that again. Examine your worthiness. Do I feel worthy of receiving my good? Do I feel worthy of receiving a healthy, harmonious, loving relationship? Right? Virgos, you can get a little critical with yourselves. It's in your nature. So this is going to be a challenge for you to practice self-love, to catch those negative, fear-based thoughts that come into your mind so quickly, to catch it and say, no, I love myself. I approve of myself. I am worthy of receiving my good. And I deserve to have what I need. I deserve the best. Okay, those are good affirmations for you to use. All right, so let's move on to some of the crystals. We talked about the affirmations. We talked about the house placement for all of your signs. Let's talk about some of the crystals that you can use. With Libra Aries polarity. So I'm going to automatically choose a rose quartz, and I need to get my moonstone too because my crystals are right about this rose quartz. Rose quartz, I think, is an great all-purpose crystal that everybody should have in their collection. Okay, you see that? Rose quartz is going to help you with self-love. It's going to help you with emotional healing, emotional cleansing, specifically at the heart chakra. Okay, it's also going to help to kind of sweeten the connection that you have with one another, that there is between two people, specifically in intimate relationships. This amplifying quality, right? So if you're thinking loving thoughts about yourself, if you're feeling worthy of receiving that love, and you're carrying a rose quartz, it's just going to amplify that energy for you. So that's exciting. Okay, so let's talk about moonstone, which is an obvious one, right? With the full moon, it so happens to be a Libra birthstone. This is particularly a cat's eye moonstone. And moonstone is great for new beginnings because if the full moon is going to bring in an ending, then obviously it's making room for a new beginning, right? Moonstones are also good for protecting you at night. They help you to balance your emotions, hamster wheel that we get on, and breaking that pattern. Moon chakra, or on a physical level, moonstone is going to help you with weight. Okay, if you're trying to lose weight, moonstone will support you in that. It's also going to help you to regulate your menstrual cycle, and it helps to calm children. Frankie, you know, he's 15 months, so he's teething, and it's just sometimes. And so this really helped to calm him down. I also have a crystal grid mattress with his birthstones, so hematite and smoky quartz. So I think the combination of those with this moonstone in the middle really kind of helped him to calm down. Maybe I'll do that tonight if he gets up again. All right, moving on to bloodstone. Now, this is going to be for the lower chakras. The crystals that I've shown you, so this is heart chakra, the rose quartz, and this is going to be throat and third eye. So we're going to go down to the lower chakras. This is called bloodstone. I don't know if you can see that really well. But bloodstone comes in a lot of different colors. Well, basically reds and greens. This one's more green. It has a little bit of red in it. But bloodstone is actually a birthstone for Libra and Aries, so it's going to be very supportive for you at this time. It helps with protection from bullies. So if you are dealing with some kind of situation, a bullying situation, whether that's at school or at work, you know, bullies are not just at school, they're in the workplace too. You can wear a bloodstone gem for them to avoid you. It's almost like your energy to them, which is really cool. It's a very intense healing stone for the lower chakras. So, you know, those deep emotional wounds from childhood, it's going to kind of bring those up. It's good for mental clarity, eases misunderstandings and difficulties in relationships. So that's definitely going to be of great use to you right now. It's going to help you to stay in the present moment, to function in the here and now. Because a lot of times when we're worried and upset, you know, about things that have either not happened yet, or we're pissed off about something that already happened, we're not in the present moment. So right, we're too busy wasting our precious energy on things that we don't have any control over. So bloodstone is going to help stay in the present moment. If that's an issue for you, I highly recommend bloodstone. It's been very beneficial for that particular purpose, staying present, staying blood purifier. Okay, it's going to help you to stay strong and determined and have courage to make these trends. So definitely bloodstone and moonstone are going to be my top two recommendations. And then, of course, the all-purpose rose quartz, which is just good for love in general. Okay. So I thank you so much for joining me, and you can Ask any questions you need to. If you're watching me on YouTube, you can put them in the comments below or on Periscope, talking to you guys about these subjects. And I'm going to be doing I'm going to do them every day on Periscope, starting at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right? And I will also be filming some live classes as well and putting those on YouTube as edited videos or somewhat edited. And I will also be doing this particular show, the One Body Wellness audio blog, 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific, 7:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I hope that you guys will join me wherever you are. Have a fantastic bye. Namaste. Thank you for watching. Bye.